everyone. Good morning. Let's gather together. If you're in the hallway, come on in. Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for, again, working with us on the parking lot. It's a little messier this week. If you were here last week, it's a little messier this week. They did a lot more drainage work this week on this side of the building. So there's a lot of drainage tile that was put in, a big tank, that cement thing they put in there. So, and if you want some fun, drive around back. There's a couple of giant piles of parking lot dirt, whatever you want to call it. So if you have kids, let them climb up and fall down to break some bones and other things. So it's a little messy back there. And if you drive back there, you'll start to see the new way in which that entrance is starting to shape up. So there's a little bit of a change, and you'll see that as you drive back there. But we ran into a little snafu this week. We're going to have to take down some trees along that side of the entrance because we have to go down so deep. We're ripping out roots, and so it would weaken the trees and then fall on our neighbor's house. Not a good idea. So thankfully, Tim Church and I went over, talked to the neighbor, and apart from us, the machines vibrating her house all day, she was very happy that we said we need to cut some trees down. She's like, cut them all down. We want them all down. I'm like, well, we're not going to pay for all of that, but we'll pay for 5 trees to come down. So keep praying for good weather this week. They think they can get a lot of work done this week if weather cooperates and we stay somewhat dry. And so be praying for that. We'll encourage you today, if you haven't signed up for the church picnic on Wednesday, please register for that. We're trying to know how much food or hot dogs we need to prepare for, and buns and all that other good stuff. So if you could register for that, that'd be great. You can sign up out in the sign-up center or just go online and sign up that way. I think right now we're up to like 120 something. So Lord willing, it's not going to rain. Keep praying for. Last year it rained, and so we had to move it here. Let's pray that it won't rain so we can have it at Bicentennial. And by the way, if you haven't gone down Grand Blanc Road recently, it's a one-way, all right? And you can only go west on Grand Blanc Road, which means nothing to me. If you were to say you can only go west, I'd be like, well, which way are you going? Towards Fenton Road or towards Grand Blanc, Walmart, that way. It's towards Fenton Road. You can only go towards Fenton Road. And so I think you either have to go so depending on where you're coming from, if you turn on, what? You can go down Dort Highway, but if you're coming down Hill Road, you can turn up Porter. That's the road. You can turn up Porter and then cut around that way. So one way will get you there, or just plug it into your GPS and you'll figure it out, all right? This morning we have missionaries with us, and they are, we've been supporting them for several years now. And Carol and I were able to have dinner with them and catch up last night, and that was fun. So Comptons are with us this morning. They're going to share about their ministry this morning, both of them. And so I look forward to hearing what we heard several things about their ministry last night, but look forward to hearing more. So guys, come on up, and they're going to share, and then Tim's going to share from God's Word later on this morning. But they're going to share about their ministry right now.
Good morning. We are happy to be here. I don't think we've actually been able to present here. We met with the missions committee a few years back, and then you guys picked us up from there, and then we had to leave for Thailand. So we're excited to be here and meet many of you. So,
I think we did from our car.
We did from our car.
An interview.
Okay.
Yes, driving back from Arkansas.
I don't remember that. Okay. Maybe
That's why I'm up here with him.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, we're happy to be here, and we love to meet as many of you as we can, so come say hi to us when we're in between services or after this morning. But my name's Tim, this is my wife Laura, and we are in Chiang Rai, Thailand, which is the farthest north you can go without bumping into Myanmar or Burma. So that's where we're at. We do want to introduce you to our kids. We have 5 daughters. We only have 2 that live with us in Thailand now. So Savannah is 15. She'll be a sophomore at Chiang Rai International Christian School. And Katie is 12, and she'll be going into 7th grade. So they aren't with us this morning. They've heard this presentation probably 18 times, and they were like bored out of their minds. So they didn't want to come. They want to stay and hang out with friends and cousins and grandparents this weekend, which is good. We do have 3 that are no longer in the house with us. Liz is our oldest. She's 26. She's actually in Chiang Rai, Thailand right now, watching our dog for us while we're here. But she's teaching at a Montessori school in Chiang Rai. So she's like in the middle of a 2-year contract. She's got 1 more year. We're excited to have her there with us while we're there. Kenzie, she just got married last month. She's currently living in Denver, Colorado. She's applying for jobs all over the U.S., so we don't know where she'll land. But she's in Denver right now with her new husband, and his name is Travis. And we're excited. We're excited to see where God puts them and for them to get their life going. And then Maddie is, how old is she? 22? 22. She just graduated from Cornerstone University in May and just accepted a position at Ada Bible Church in Grand Rapids, helping run their junior and senior high youth program. She has a heart to disciple junior high and senior high girls. So we found her a job that she can do what she loves and maybe even make some money, so I don't have to send her any more money. And we're really excited for what God's going to do in her heart. She does have a desire to be back in Asia, so she's kind of waiting for God's leading and where he'll move her there. So that's our family. And we have been in Thailand almost 8 years now. Well, it is 8 years. It's been 8 years. And we have learned one thing that just seems to ring true throughout our whole time there is we do not have a clue what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing over there. And you'll understand a little bit more in a second, but to give you a little bit of history, when we originally left in 2016, I thought God needed me to run a sports ministry to reach youth over there. That's what God needed me to do. Well, we got there, and about 2 years in, that all fell apart. So that ministry was gone, and we're like, okay, now what do we do? So we kind of reorganized, and then said, okay, we've got this model for planting churches. This is what God's going to need us to do in villages that are unreached in Chiang Rai. Well, COVID came. We couldn't get into villages for one reason or another, and then we were stuck here for a year, and that just kind of fell apart too. So really, we have no idea what we're doing. Every one of our plans is just like, nope, those are terrible plans. We did form a team with another couple over there, and they were kind of having the same issues we were. Everything they were trying to do just wasn't working. They had all these elaborate plans of how they're going to minister to people, and they were having a hard time executing those. So we said we need to keep it simple. And we came up with a simple purpose, and that was to start Bible studies among people in Chiang Rai that aren't currently engaged with the gospel. And so we just started looking for, spent some time looking for people that weren't currently engaged with the gospel, villages that didn't have churches in them, people groups that weren't being engaged with the gospel. And our big plan to do that was just to show up, see what's happening, and see how we can plug in. So that's our plan, show up, because I think we can do that. God wants us to show up, right? And once we're there, we'll start Bible studies among people groups. Now, Nate and I spent about 6 months. Nate is, does this have a pointer on it? No? All right. So Nate's the big face in the front left, all right? He's my partner over there, and we spent about 6 months just online researching villages that don't have churches. We went and visited them, seeing what we can do, how we can get in, and we were just having a hard time gaining any traction in those villages. Either they wouldn't let us in because they didn't want Christians there, they didn't want worship in their village, or we were still 2 years or a year removed from COVID. They didn't want any people that weren't from their village in their village, or we didn't know anybody. We didn't have an in to get in and talk and see who we even needed to talk to. So we're going through all of this. We're getting a little bit frustrated. We're trying to push doors open, right, that God hadn't opened for us, and we're just getting frustrated. During that time, a friend of mine had a free month membership at a CrossFit gym. And he asked me if I would join him because he could bring a guest, a plus one with him. So, hey, can you go work out with me? I'm like, no way. Number one, CrossFit people are weird, right? I mean, it's a cult. All they do is talk about CrossFit. When you see them, like the day after workout, they walk like this, right? And I didn't want to do that. And it just didn't sound fun to me. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to do that. But he kept saying, come on, if you don't go, I won't go. And then I need to do something. So I started going with him, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good way for me to kind of work out some of my frustrations. I enjoyed hanging out with some of the Thai people that were there. And it started to be one of my favorite 1 to 2 hours of my day was being at the gym and just hanging out with people. Nate was going through the same thing. He was working out at the gym as well, and same thing. He was meeting guys and just enjoying that community of that was there, that was set up there. So we're having this meeting at our house. It was our house or Nate's house, I don't remember. And we're trying to, all right, this village is a no-go. What about this village? Nope, that's a no-go. So we're having these conversations, and meanwhile, our phones are going off with people from the gym saying, hey, can you connect with us for lunch this day? Or, hey, we want to go here with you guys, or we want to do this camping event over here. Can you guys come with us for that? And Laura was like, you guys are trying so hard to get into these villages. You've got a community of people right here that are just dying for you to spend time with them. So we had this great idea. We're going to start a ministry at the CrossFit gym. And that hit, we're like, well, yeah, they're currently a group of people that aren't being reached. The gym, Project Fit, or the organization Project Fit, is mainly made up of middle-class Thai people. And they are a hard group to reach. Number one, they're wealthy, so they don't need anything. Like, there's no in for us to come in, at least in the physical realm of, like, food, medicine. They just don't need anything. They have what they need. Number two, they're pretty steeped in their Buddhism. Their families are all Buddhist. Buddhism has done well for them. They're superstitious, so their lives are good. So Buddhism has done well for them. So they're just a hard group, and the churches that were set up in Chiang Rai weren't really doing things to connect with the middle class guys. For one other reason is Sundays are days that they don't worship because they work Monday through Saturday, and Sundays are their days when they take their kids to Chinese and English lessons, do tennis, horseback riding, golf, whatever it is that their kids are doing, they're shuttling them around, and that's when they do all their extracurriculars and extra learning classes. So to invite them to church on a Sunday would be like a no-go. So that's this group of people that we met and started engaging with in Chiang Rai. The other cool thing about the gym part, so Project Fit is made up of two things now. We have Lift Gym, and that is just where the community happens. When they enter those garage doors and come into the gym, they leave their Thai culture at the door and they enter gym culture. So no more is it like they don't just keep to themselves, or they won't share what they're struggling with. They're working out, and we're in pain together. We all hate our coach together. We're just doing life together in the gym, and they just take all those walls down. They don't have to have it all together when they're at the gym. The other thing that's cool is they just stay. So after a workout, you can see in that middle picture of Laura just meeting with some of the Thai women there. They'll stay for an hour or two after a workout, either stretching, or they'll order coffee and food and just kind of eat and drink coffee and just talk life with us. And we're doing things outside of the gym together as well. We're having meals together. We're going camping. All these fun things. And we're just starting to engage them in conversation. So we notice that there's this community that's already there, right? We don't have to ask them to come to our church. They're paying to come to the gym, and they're already there. Well, a cool thing about the gym, too, is this was started 6 years ago now by a missionary from San Francisco. And the gym was going to be his business that would pay him to be able to be there and do ministry in the city. But his ultimate vision was to use the gym as a way to reach tithes as well. But he just couldn't get it to that point. Well, Nate and I had been working out there for about 6 months, and we were like, okay, we need to do something here. This is where people are at. So we met with Brandon, the original owner, and said, hey, would you mind if we started a Bible study here at the gym? And he was like, oh, you don't know how excited that makes me, because I've been wanting to do that, and I haven't known how to get that started. So that's what we started. Wednesday nights was going to be our Bible study time, and we would just invite gym members to come to it. Well, we had, I don't know, we started with 15, and it started growing and growing, and members were getting saved, and we're like, hey, we've got something going here. Let's just start a church. So we called it RX Church, and that's arm 2 of the gym. So we got Lift Gym. Oh, I should back up. Lift Gym, we named it that we just changed the name about a year ago for one reason. We have this cheer at the end of every workout. Everyone gets together and we say, Kwam Rak, Kwam Rain, Krap Kua, Kwam Jing. Love, intensity, family, truth. So all of our members know that they're going to be loved there. Life gets intense, workouts get intense. We're all going to do that together. And they're going to be our family. We're going to treat them and love them like they're our family, and it's a place where they're going to be spoken truth to. So they're reminded that every day, and it's not something that they're getting anywhere else in the city. So they keep coming. So it's really cool. So then we started RX Church. Now, if you know anything about, do we have any CrossFitters here? No. So everyone here is normal. No one's weird. Okay. So RX, when the coach designs the workout each day, RX is like the standard.
The ultimate.
So that's like the top thing. If you do RX, you're doing the top workout. I'm normally scaling it, but so we designed, we're meeting together because God sets the standard for us, and we're working towards that. And the ministries of RX Church is we do prayer at the gym. So once a week after the last morning workout, we just pray together. We ask our members how we can be praying for them, and then we invite them to come and pray with us. Some of them stay, some of them don't. We pray. We have our Wednesday night worship. We talked a little bit about that, where we have our worship time with music, and then we do some Bible study teaching. It's a little different than what we would do here in the States, and if you stay for the morning service, you can experience a little bit of that. So that's just kind of a plug for you guys to stay for 10:30. We do our community outreach events. Now, outreach is a loose term as far as what you're thinking of what outreach would look like here. Our outreach events are more marketing events for the gym. Our goal is to get people to come to the gym and then let us get to know them, start talking about Jesus that way. If we invite them to come to our church, they won't come. We're Buddhists. We don't go to church. We go to the Watts or we go to the temples. So we just do, hey, come to our gym. You can pay us to come see us, and they do it. So our outreach events are things like we'll go into schools and do fitness days in schools, or we'll do, our biggest one is a Halloween event for kids in the community. And we just try and get them to come back to the gym, and then that's when God really seems to be working. And then we have special events, things like just ways for us to love our members. We'll do a baby shower at the gym. So as you can see, we do fun things like the husbands all have to wear big medicine balls, they're about 20 pounds, and they have to carry them around so they can act like they're pregnant. We actually have workouts for them to do while they're pregnant, so they can know what their wives are experiencing. And the cool thing is the guy all the way to the right, his name is Bird, and the guy all the way to the left, his name is Ploy's husband, because we don't know who he is.
Can't remember his name.
Their wives are members of the gym, their husbands are not. And it's just another touch point to get in touch with their families, and they get to see, wow, I mean, these are people that aren't our Thai blood relatives, and they're doing things that just show us that they love us.
And the cool thing about the couple on the left, Ploy and Ploy's husband, is he's a doctor, but he had been working in Bangkok, which is a flight away. We had no clue that Ploy was even married. She had been coming to the gym, and she came to us the one day, and she was like, I think he'll go over this, like, before every workout, we share, like, something that we're stressed about. And so that morning, she was like, well, my husband is going to be coming back to Chiang Rai and working in a hospital here, but we've never lived together. We've been married for 7 years, and I don't know like how I'm supposed to be a wife, so I'm a little stressed about it. And we were like, pick our jaws up first because we're like, you're married? 7 years? Like, what in the world? And so after we picked our jaws up, we were like, well, she was like, can you help me? Like, you've been married a long time. Like, what am I supposed to do? And so we started meeting at the gym once a week, going through the 5 love languages with her, which just, a lot of good information there, but just a lot of just like, this is Jesus' plan, like Jesus' idea for women and the value of women. And so it was like so fun to go through with her. And so then when we finally met her husband, he was just like, oh, you're the people who have been like helping her and teaching her things, and because she was like so excited for him to come home and for her to like just do things for him. So it was a really neat thing.
In the Buddhism culture, you do everything out of duty. And as followers of Jesus, we do everything out of love, right? So that's a total different feel and dynamic. And for her husband to kind of feel that she loved him and she wanted to do something for him because she loved him versus it's her duty meant it was different. It felt different. He was excited to come meet some of the people at the gym. I do want to introduce you to a couple of people. We got to move it fast. Okay. Net was the first gym member to become a follower of Christ. It happened a few years ago. He was depressed, addicted to drugs, couldn't get out of bed. His friend invited him to come work out at the gym. He met some of the believers at the gym, Brandon in particular, and he said, I need what they have. And he became a follower of Jesus, and he smiles like that all the time now. He is also one of our coaches now, too, so it's really cool to have him a part of the gym. The first thing he did is he went home and he led his mom to the Lord. Then he led his sisters to the Lord. And then he led his girlfriend, who was also a gym member, to the Lord as well. And now they're married and have their first son, and he's just on fire. It's really cool to see Net work. And he's a great partner of ours now, too. The next person I want to introduce you to, his name is King. He was the most recent person to accept Christ at the gym. We hired him on as a coach. Our gym was growing. We needed more than one coach. So we hired King on. He was not a believer. He was Buddhist. We invited him to come pray with us. He said, nope, I'm Buddhist. I don't need you to pray for me, but we prayed for him anyways. And he started crying because he said, nobody's ever asked me what I need help with. Over the last year, we've just been slowly inviting him to come to things. We'd scheduled him to work the last class on Wednesday, so we'd kind of hear what's going on at church, as we're getting things started. He's cleaning up, he's hearing the worship music, and he's hearing the lesson time. So he started staying. 2 weeks before we came back on furlough, he accepted Christ. And he got baptized while we were here in May. So we're real excited. He is on fire, too. He went from, I don't need prayer, are you praying for me, to he's messaging us pretty much 3 times a week, hey, how can I be praying for you? And he's just on fire, too. And he asks great questions as well. So those are our 2 exciting stories to tell of our first and last member. And they're coaches, and Net's wife is now our office manager, so we have all believers now. We're going to gym. We need to hire more staff so we can lead them to Christ. Now, what was next here? So one of the things we realized when we started this RX church is about 60% of our members weren't really being engaged with what was happening at the church or the Bible studies. So we're like, okay, as a leadership group, we're like, we need to start taking RX church to our members. So we have to figure out where they're at. I was at a 6:30 class, and I saw one of our members. He's now one of my close friends. His trunk was open. There were golf clubs in his trunk, and I'm like, hey, you golf? He goes, yeah, I golf. I golf every week. Like, when I was in the States, I used to love to golf. Well, you should come with me. I'm like, I don't have clubs. Doesn't really work. No, you need to come with me. So I came home, and I told Laura, Jesus is really telling me I need to go golfing. So I went and found some clubs, and every Sunday morning at 6:30, I'm out with that guy golfing. And it's not just him, it's him and all of his college and high school friends. And I didn't have access to them before. And started off just getting to know each other, and about 2 months in, it turned from getting to know each other to why do you raise your kids the way you raise them? Why do you treat your wife the way you treat them? How do we handle this finance situation? And then it led into, why do you believe what you believe? So we're having faith conversations on the golf course. One of the guys that we golf with, he's pretty close to accepting Christ. So he's asking some really questions that he's struggling with, like, so if I follow God and pray to God, that means I don't pray to my ancestors anymore, right? So he's struggling through not praying to his grandparents and just some of those things that have been embedded in him. So me praying for my golf buddies for more conversation that God will keep moving in their hearts. That also includes eating at our house. We're like, all right, we need to connect with our wives and kids, so we invite them to do Thai-style barbecues. And Thai-style barbecue is about 4 hours of eating on the grill, around the grill, and playing games and hanging out and having good conversations about what we believe and why we believe. And we ask them too, why do you believe this? And how does that work? And how does it make you feel? And it's just great conversations that we wouldn't have if we didn't take church to them. Laura has a different experience with running.
So one of the women at the gym, I had made a post on Facebook about, you can have goals, but you have to have a plan of how you're going to achieve the goal, or you probably won't achieve your goal. And so the next morning when I showed up at the gym, she told me, she was like, I made a plan at the beginning of the year that I wanted to run a half marathon. But it's April already, I hadn't started doing anything, so I was going to quit. And I thought, maybe I'll try again next year. But then I read your post, and I got really upset because I realized I do this every year. I make a goal, and then I never do it. And she said, I realized I've never made one of my goals. She said, so I really want to do this one. So will you help me come up with a plan? I'm like, well, sure, that's easy. You just Google it. Like, when do you want to run your race? How many weeks? Okay, this is what you have to do. And so she's like, oh, that's great. Well, will you do it with me? And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
I said, Jesus is telling you have to go running.
So we started meeting together, and the thing with that is, a half marathon, you build up to where you're together for like more than 2 hours together running, and we don't put earbuds in, we talk the whole time. And so just been able to have a lot of conversations with her, but that also led to some of the other girls at the gym heard that we were meeting and running together, and they're like, oh, you're running with her? You like to run? Well, we're gonna meet at this park on Saturday morning. Do you wanna meet and run with us? And I'm like, okay. So meet and run with them, and then like, oh, well, we're gonna meet and we're gonna go hike this mountain. You wanna come with us? Okay. But it just opened a lot more doors for me to like be spending a lot of time with a lot of the women in the gym. And it's not just like a run, it's not just a hike, it's the stopping halfway through because I like to take pictures, and it's the stopping for coffee after, and then, oh, we're gonna get lunch now. And so I learned to tell Tim, like, instead of being like, we're gonna meet at 6 in the morning, I'll be home by 10, to we're meeting at 6, I'll probably be home by dinner, I think, maybe, so.
She's not. And running shoes cost a lot more than golf clubs, I'm just saying. Okay, so that's Project Fit. Lift Gym, RX Church, where we're spending probably 70% of our time right now, and we're having the time of our lives there. Who would have thought?
And our one girl here in the picture, she's
the girl in blue.
Yeah, she's one of the girls that I would meet and run with. She showed up at the gym one night. She just struggles a lot with depression, and she was at home, and her mother-in-law came and said, I'll watch the kids, you go, you leave, go someplace where you have peace. And so she took off. She was on her way to the movies, and she got there, and she was like, these are horrible. Like, they love horror movies. So she's like, no, this doesn't give me peace. So she left, and she started driving. She didn't know where to go. And next thing she knew, she was driving past the gym. She stopped. She came, and we were there. It was on a Wednesday night, so we had just finished our Bible study. And she came running in, and she said, I have to follow Jesus. I have to. This is the only place I ever have peace. I'm ready. I want to be a follower of Jesus. And so, that was really exciting. But it's hard. Like, they make these decisions, but like their lives don't change. And so she just kind of, it's been a hard road for her.
They don't change materially, is what she's saying. Like, their husbands are still mean to them, or, they're still struggling through some business things. So that, like, God doesn't make everything magically better in their lives, but they still have that peace and,
Yeah.
that joy that comes with
So
it. That's the
it's
difference.
been a fun watching her
Okay.
connect with other people and her encouraging other people that this is where you have peace.
So it's really cool. I mean, if you ask me, how do you start a gym or how do you start a ministry at a gym, I tell you, I really don't know. We just showed up and God started working, and we continue to show up and find ways to show up, and that seems to be how God's working. So we're going to keep doing that. We're going to fly through these next 2 villages. So we've been working at the gym for 3 years. We haven't been able to get into any of these villages. About 8 months ago, we met a girl who knew someone in the village of Santisuk. She was from there. So she connected us, and our first thing is to go meet the village leader and say, how can we help you guys? And after some conversations, he told us, well, our older people don't have access to medicine or doctors. So we're like, okay, they're about an hour and a half outside the city where we live, and they all drive motorbikes, so it's hard for them to get anywhere. So we did a medical clinic. Those are all the people that showed up. And afterwards, we brought doctors in. We met with the doctors afterwards and said, what's the biggest issue? And he said, well, most of them are pre-diabetic. Okay, well, I'm not a doctor. So I'm like, what does that mean? Like, how do we help them? And so I'm looking for ways of how do we get back into this village every week? And he goes, well, they need to be exercising. I'm like, God has had us at this gym for the last 3 years, and now we have coaches that are believers. So every Friday, that's me meeting, every Friday we take Coach Nett, actually he started on his own because I've been here since we started, we just got in. We do simple functional fitness movements with some of the older people there. It's like picking up those plastic chairs, holding them over your head, put them down, sit down, stand up, pick it up. And also at the end of our workouts, he is doing some storytelling, and it's Bible stories or stories that point to God or have morality in them, and creating conversations with the people in the village of Santisuk. Right now, there's one believer that we know of, and we're pretty excited to see how God's going to use fitness to open the doors and lead more of these people to Christ. They're super engaged with what's going on. They love having us there. They light up when we come to the village. So you can be praying for the people of Santisuk. And then Banmai Suksan so Santisuk is northern Thai. So you have our middle class in the city. Northern Thai, they're just Thai nationals that live they're poor, they live in the mountains. Banmai Suksan is a Hmong hill tribe group. This is a village that I was told I couldn't go into because I wasn't from the village. So I was kind of getting frustrated with that because we thought we had some ins. But little did I know that while I was getting frustrated and working out at the gym, this guy right here, Pastor Shalom, who's become a good friend of mine, he's a Hmong pastor in a different Hmong village. He was getting into the village with a passion to start a church in this Hmong village. And he asked for my help. He goes in monthly with some of his church members and does a worship service, but he wasn't having people come to that. He's like, how do I engage the people in the village? I said, well, let's go to the village leader first and see what their needs are. And then, so my role in this village is to help bring medical clinics into it, bring groups that will do English camps and help do English camps in the village. I help him with some Christmas events. I'll show up to his worship events. Actually, in our medical clinic, 9 people accepted Christ, the medical clinic that we did. So that was him handing out his Hmong Bibles to the people in the village. So God's really using Pastor Shalom to start reaching the people in Banmai Suksan as well. And we've got some exciting things planned in the schools there when we get back. So you can be praying for the people of Banmai Suksan. So that's us. And here's how you can be praying. Transitions at Lift Gym. Brandon, the guy who started the gym, has now moved back permanently to the U.S. So we have that hole to fill there. It'll be a big hole. So you can be praying for that. Our members miss him. Nett and King miss him. We miss him as leaders of the gym too. So there's going to be a big hole to fill there. Now that I'm doing a lot more work at the gym, I have to change my visa type to a business visa. I can't be on a volunteer visa anymore, or we can get in trouble, or get the organization that I was volunteering with in trouble. So I'll be applying for a new visa middle of August. So you can be praying for that. Could you pray for the openness in villages? Right now, we seem to be gaining some traction. So just continue to pray that God will keep hearts open there. We have some names there. You can be praying. These are people at the gym or people I golf with that are close to accepting Christ. So continue to pray for them in conversations that we have with them. And then continue to pray for Chiang Rai. I mean, God's doing some pretty cool things. Again, we really don't know what we're doing or how. I mean, God's just doing things that we're like, I didn't even think that would happen. And God's just doing it, and it's happening in Chiang Rai. So please continue to pray for God to keep working in Chiang Rai. And the last thing we want to say is just thank you. You guys are great partners to us. So hopefully what you saw today encourages you, because it's got your fingerprints on it over there as well because of your partnership with us, how you pray for us, how you financially partner with us. It's appreciated. That's our phone number while we're in the States. That's my email address. If you're not getting our monthly newsletters and you want to receive them, write down my email, shoot me an email, and I'll get you added as we send one out next week. And connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is you use. Connect with us, and you can kind of see what's going on daily in our lives as well. We have 1 minute left. Does anybody have any questions before we invite Pastor to come back up? So their view of Jesus is he is the God of the Americans. Yeah, that's their main view. If you were to ask them, who is Jesus to you? He is God to the Americans. Like Buddha is our God, he is their God. Yeah, that's their main view. There's no like animosity towards him or anything like that. There's kind of like a shift in dynamic there right now. Our generation, if they were to get saved, their parents and grandparents would probably have an issue with it because they're shaming the family and they're impacting their life after they die because they're not Buddhist anymore. Where we're seeing the shift is our generation, they don't care what their kids do. They're like, if you want to be Christian, you can be Christian. If you want to be Buddhist, you can be Buddhist. So they don't really care. So that's why we're really hammering some of the kids programs at the gym as well. All right, that's it. If you have any more questions, we'll be around today.
All right. One of the things I appreciate about their ministry is it's something that we can imitate that. It's just a matter of finding ways to involve ourselves in a culture where there's lost people. And so what's your place, right? I told my wife I need some guys to come and say, man, I need you to golf every week. I'd be like, oh, Carol, I don't know. I think God's calling me to play more golf. And she'd be like, you're not talking to God correctly, so you need to. No, but where is an area where you can be with lost people and just have conversations, and not so that you can have I'm going to tell you about Jesus conversation. That can't happen right away, right? It's got to be, what's going on in your life? How's things at home? Those are the conversations we need to start with. And so keep working at that. Figure out ways for you to find places to get involved so that you can ultimately love on people and show them the love of Jesus. All right, we have some time. Go grab some coffee, go fellowship. Hopefully we'll start back up around 10:30.